Hey, happy Tuesday, beautiful souls, wherever you are on this phenomenal planet. Gonna let that run real quick. Make sure I start the Instagram live. You know your girl was having some technical difficulties up in this piece. My laptop, fortunately I have two. Now I have two, so one's doing an update. Okay, breathe. I am like way overdue, but somebody needs to hear it at this time. Apparently we are starting 10 minutes, 20 minutes late. Forgive me. Thank you. I'm already forgiven. I just want to make sure I sound check and make sure I'm streaming to my pages. Shout out to those who are coming in on the Instagram and Facebook. We are on episode 72 of Shift Your Thinking. I just love this little track here. How many of you have gotten used to it already? Like, this is the track for the show. Anybody? I'm used to it. I'm so used to it. And I love everything about it. So I'm calling, let me say this. If you're new to the show, welcome. Hi, hello. I've made some new Facebook friends and Instagram friends. Connected with some new folks since I've been traveling. And welcome to Shift Your Thinking, where we transform our inner experience to a phenomenal outer experience for 13 minutes of our day, of our time. We do it together. We connect, build, and share. You know I'm excited, y'all. You know I'm super excited. Why? Because Rabe and I are launching our Spirit of Business MiniCourse. We're going to do another show on that on Sunday. So stay tuned. Stay tuned if you're feeling stuck. If you're feeling stuck in just kind of your business and your spirit, mind, body. If you've been connecting with me, we are continuing our series from 200 Ways to Improve Our Lives with Dean Del Sesto. Again, Shift Your Thinking. I did do a book giveaway. You can grab a copy of this. You can order a copy online. It is available. And you can follow along. I'm like doing logistics in my mind right now because I have two computers open right now. And I'm just trying to make sure everything is all good. All right. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling that we are looking good here. Okay. So I wanted to put this here. And today's episode, I mentioned 72, and I'm calling this. Last week's episode was so good, you guys. The Dying Genius, that was so powerful. That was really powerful. Live like a dying genius. This week, I'm calling this segment, what am I calling it? I'm calling this one, Stop Trying, Just Make a List. Stop trying, just make a list. Catch yourself. You ever use that word? You ever use the word, I'm trying, the phrase, I'm trying to do this? Because you're either doing it or you're not. So stop trying and just make a list. I had my students in here yesterday. Shout out to Ty Reese and Roland. These are Real Estate 100 Youth Foundation interns. And so they came in and I made a point to ask them if they had brought their workbook. If they were like ready, you know, this is Ready Set Real Estate. You can't just show up and not be ready, especially with me. I'm not repeating myself. I'm not going to do that. And they weren't quite ready. So we made that a point of topic. And it's like, yo, I mean, you can't half step. You've got to be committed. And so that's what I'm saying with this episode today of Shift Your Thinking. Stop trying and just make a list. Why? Because lists really saves lives. They save lives. It certainly saved my life. I need a list or it's just not going to get done. It is not going to get done. All right, let me jump in here and I got to wrap this up. This is going to be like a speedy one because I do have a a client coming in at 9 o'clock. And I just want to say thank you for connecting, building, and sharing. I love you. There's just so much in store. And we've been doing this for over a year and a half. We're going to go into 2020 with the show, which is really nice. All right, let me get to my place. I'm in the section, if you're following along, where he says, whenever you have a meeting, make a list so you don't think twice, check back twice, or have to do it twice. Sounds like a Mercury retrograde situation happening, dealing with retrogrades. Double check, revisits. No, that's not what we're talking about. In this segment, we're talking about just stop trying, just make a list. He says, the author says, a little bit of forethought saves a lot of unnecessary afterthoughts. I like that. A little bit of forethought saves a lot of unnecessary afterthoughts. He says, lists, they seem elementary, and to some degree they are, but what's not elementary about lists is the process we go through to complete them. And that's so true. I read somewhere, where I was reading a book last night, and it was talking about how, it was Richard Branson. He was saying he gets so frustrated when he sees people not taking notes or writing things down, right? So I would too. You're in a meeting, show up with pen and paper. Write it down. Hey, Stacy, Rob, Nicholas, shout out, drop your comments, say hi, say hello. And thanks for the share. Really appreciate the support. So he says it's a process of considering aspects, variations, and potentials, and being thorough, complete, detailed, innovative, considerate, and productive. I love all those activation words. This is about shift your thinking, shifting the language, shifting your language. I love those activation words. Those are amazing. Being thorough, complete. This is what complete is also about. Complete is also about showing up in the world complete. I am so excited about the Shift Spirit of Business mini course, because you can't show up if you don't know how to show up, who to show up as. There's a lot of copycats around here, not being authentic. Don't do that. Stop doing it. I'm saying it now. Just make a list. All right, let me continue. He says, I'm not sure how much elementary I can find in those things. In fact, he says, it sounds pretty academic. I agree. Sounds pretty academic and sharp to show up complete, detailed, innovative, considerate. It's a powerful vibration words. Powerful. It's a great way to go into this week. I'm serious. And I'm really happy. I'm going to keep bringing up the spirit of business because, me and Rob, we're going to the next level. We're finally going to do the next level with this because, one, it really comes out of passion and purpose. Number two, passion one, purpose two. And we're going to have so much fun. I get to merge what I'm doing on Shift Your Thinking with what she does with Trill Alchemy. And now we have Spirit of Business mini course. Get the heck out of here. Are you listening to what I just said? This is going to be next level. So stay tuned for that. Let me finish. I mentioned I got to get through this. And we started late, but on time. And when I say that, and when you attend the course, you'll know why I say that. We started late, but right on time. He says, the author says, not sure about you, but after every meeting I attend, there can be little details I missed. That happens to me. Yes, that does. He says, questions I regret not asking and things I wish. Not necessarily, I'm not that heavy on myself where, I'm regretting it, but it's definitely a moment where I say, yeah, make sure to do it this way next time. And I say it, I speak it. That way I can hear myself. That's why script playing, script training and role playing, all that's important because it's like muscle memory. Your brain will remember the experience. I role play with my children. My daughter's now 18, and I remember I used to role play with her when she was 11 through 14. And I used to role play the situation scenarios about, dating and condom use and drug use. Like if you're in a situation, like what should you do? Role play with these babies. So when they're in the situation, the brain can go back to, I remember this. I know what to do. And now that they know what to do, it's truly a decision of whether it's going to be a battle of the wills, right? Battle of the right. Do I do right? Is it right for me to do? Am I going to experiment with it? Those are things out of your control. But what I'm saying is practice and putting those tools putting that technique into play, into the mind when you plant those seeds, and then you're in that situation, you'll know how to respond prepared better. I've role played with those who I work as a JEGNA, right, as a teacher with. Those colleagues of mine who come to me, even on personal situations, in their relationships, in their personal relationships, men, I've role played with them. I'm like, all right, I'm her. Say what you're going to say. They say it, and I banter back. When I banter back, they now know how to respond to what I'm saying. And I oftentimes say to them, it's not about your response. It's about allowing one to digest it and process it. Giving relationships tips today. That's funny. I didn't name any names, but there are lots of people that I work with from that aspect, with the dynamics of men and women, the dynamics of your partnership. And we've said this, you are in a relationship with everything. People, your money, your family, your children, co-workers, self. You're in a relationship with self. All right, let's bring this home. So he says, the more time I spend thinking about that, the more I uncover what I should have covered. He says, so for me, I find it flattering that someone who knows me to pick their brain on occasions ask when we meet, hey, did you bring the dean's list? Get it? Hey, Buzz on TV. Shout out to my Instagram fam. He says, I do, and I generally leave the meeting with no regrets and rarely are things missed. Right. People may appreciate you more that you have a guide. You have a guide. It's guided. It's a guided conversation, because some people will talk and take up your time. Have a guided conversation. Bring a list. Make a list. He says, truth is, I need the list for a few reasons. I need lists. I actually do lists in the morning. I do lists at night, just to make sure that when I completed the day, I got through what I needed to get through. And if I didn't, that transfers over to the next day. We do need lists. There's nothing wrong. It does not say you're incompetent if you need a list. He says, first, in my inherent need to maximize every meeting I attend down to the detail. Second, there are so many distractions and things on my mind. Anyone get distracted easily? I got all kinds of things. That's why I now actually keep my phone on vibrate. My phone, I am now practicing to keep it on vibrate. Hey, Antoine. Landscape Larry, South Carolina's in the building. Who else is out here? Jagrail, I think that's what it is. We're talking about lists. Stop trying, just make a list. Doesn't make you look incompetent. Make a list. Do the to-do. Perfectly okay. I know I started late because I know you have me on a reminder, and I really love you for that. Because now I'm thinking about you when I start late. I'm like, yo, people have their reminder set at 8:10 Pacific time, 11:10 Eastern that I'm coming on. I was a little late this morning, but right on time. So he says, distractions on the mind. Yes, so one thing I am doing as I'm in my work day and work mode, I actually put my phone on vibrate. Sometimes I put it on silent, but then I'm like missing people if I'm not paying attention to it and I'm playing phone tag. So vibrate is better, because then it's not a complete disruption when it's ringing. I like that, actually. I feel, for me, I think it's been been a great tip so far. Hey, Florence, how are you? She's like, hello, how are you? I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. Thank you for tuning in. I was just talking about I'm late. So He says, second, there are so many distractions and things on my mind. I find lists to be a way of ensuring my brand as a professional stays intact. Ooh, that was the spirit of business moment. Why? Because we're talking about our brand. Brands as, how are you showing up in the world? Do you seem put together? Are you coming off put together? Bring a list. Bring your fancy tablet. They now, imagine, so here's what's funny when we really think about this. The note, I have a note and it has a little pen. Why? You still have to write things down. With all this technology, we can do voice recordings. There's so much to say about the vibration of the pen. This is activating out of the spirit into the physical, activating it out. Why does your phone have a pen? Think about that. Why does your phone have a pen? And all the things, all the wonderful things it can do, it actually now comes with a pen. So you can write. Yes. Hey, Rob says, this is very good. Well done. And thank you. You are so welcome, Rob. Absolutely. Thank you for chiming in. And so third, he says, I respect the time of the people I'm meeting with. Imagine that. Bringing a list shows respect. Bringing a list, making a list shows respect. Respect for one's time. He says, and I desire, we talked about that word desire before, get very comfortable with desiring and needing. Women, listen up. It's okay to desire. It's okay to need. I need you in my life. Will transform your whole relationship. Dropping some gems. I don't know why somebody needs to hear this. I keep coming back to relationship tips. Talking about lists. Talking about stop trying. I'm talking about relationship tips. Antoine Larry says, I have trouble staying consistent with to-do lists, but it is very effective and helpful. Maybe revisit how long the list is. Shorten the list. Be realistic for you. If anyone else is having that, and I agree. And this is why it's okay to revisit the list and then transfer it for the next day. Jim Rohn says, you plan for tomorrow when it ends. You plan for next week when it ends. You plan for next month when it ends. So that's such a good one. This is a good one. He says, I desire to lead by example. So I went off on a tangent about desire needing. Very healthy. It's okay. I desire to lead by example. So they do the same at future meetings. Go figure. Influence. We call that influence. This is why I'm really going to be happy about the Spirit of Business mini course, because we're going to talk about some things. Desire, need, and influence. You as a personal brand and how you're showing up in the world. Desire, need, and influence, and how it relates to your personal brand. He says it really doesn't matter what the meeting entails or how many are in attendance, like today. Got a small little group happening. Make sure when you're catching me on the replay online, hashtag replay for me so that I know you're on. And then I'll engage with your comments. So when you drop a comment on the live or the post replay, the post play, replay, call it what it is, Lisa. When you're online, that's what the hashtag replay allows me to do. It allows me to come back and engage, and I know you're on. Because I still want to engage with you. Like, it means nothing for me to be connecting with you and you're not engaging with me. This is why my tag is Connect, Build, and Share. I'm on all social media, wherever you are, in your phone, your fancy phones, with a pen, your fancy phone with a pen. So he says, list, minimize stress. I like this. Believing Pride is up in the building. Hey. He says, list, minimize stress, maximize productivity, and make things go smoother in every respect. Go figure how a list can minimize stress. Look, y'all. Stop trying. All right. Stop trying. This concludes. We're getting ready to wrap this up. Stop trying. Don't do the trying. Make the list and do it. You're either doing it or you're not. Stop trying is the equivalent of stop playing. All right. I love you, love you, love you. Have a powerful and productive week. I'll see you next week for episode 73 on Shift Your Thinking. I'm on all social media, including radio podcasts everywhere, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, which is their new podcast platform, Stitcher, Anchor, Breaker, on and on. Really appreciate you. We'll see you next week on Shift Your Thinking. Love you.